Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation and with a round of applause, can you please invite with me Pastor Segun Awolowo for his presentation.
I just want to welcome us to the first edition of Abeokuta Business and Finance Conference. It's the first of its kind as far as this is concerned. And one of the things I want to start with is that when we talk about wealth or talking about finance or talk about money, is to establish the fact that real wealth is spiritual. Real money is actually spiritual. Real money is not the physical cash that we carry around. It's not the physical cash that we carry around. Real wealth is also invisible. If I pile up 1 billion naira or $1 billion here right now, as big or as huge as that may look, the real sense of it is that that's not the real money. That's not the real wealth. Because anything can happen. God forbid if there is a fire outbreak around that space, that $1 billion or naira can disappear in few minutes. Real money is people, value, people, then opportunities. Anywhere you see people, there is money there. Anywhere. Go to anywhere, either in the bush or in the city. Anywhere you see people, there is money there. And that's connected to businesses also. Somebody says, I don't even know the kind of business I want to do. Just look around you. Are there people in this neighborhood? Once you can find people, then you can create a business around them. And once you can create a business, then you can produce money. Real money is first a thought, it resides in the mind. Real money is first a thought, it resides in the mind. This is what I mean by that. This is how it works. You cannot truly become wealthy until you are wealthy. This is what I mean. Wealth is generated in two dimensions. Number one, first in the mind, before you have it in the physical world. You cannot become a millionaire until it first happens here. And that's, let me explain this. If you are not first a millionaire, if I give you 1 million naira, I give you maybe maximum 1 month, that money will depreciate back to its original or your original status. And it's because your real mindset has not been built up to the point where you can receive, capture, nurture, handle 1 million naira. So it is first within and then without. So rather than wasting time stressing yourself looking for 1 million naira cash, first of all, develop your mind to the point that you can say, I am a millionaire. First inside, before you begin to. And the way it works is, the moment it happens inside, it's just a matter of time. It will enter your pocket. It will enter your account. It's just a matter of time. So real money is first a thought. It resides in the mind. So it's not about the physical cash. It resides in the mind. Now, when you talk about wealth, I just run through these. Like I said, it's a thought. As a man thinks, so is he. But there are 7 areas I want us to pay attention to. 7 areas I want us to pay attention to. When we talk about thinking about wealth. So number 1, think about money. Number 2, think about investment. Number 3, think about jobs. Then number 4, think about risk. Number 5, think about wisdom. Number 6, think about time. Number 7, think about problems. Let me quickly touch this Um, the major subject matter is money. But as you think about money and you think about wealth, one of the things you have to think about is investment. And I'm going to take you there very soon. In building your wealth, always have this mindset of investment. What can I invest in? How can I invest? What is the right kind of investment I need to do, I need to make? Then that is very, very important. And then you think about jobs. This is very, very important. Think about jobs, think about risk. I have not seen any wealthy or rich person who is not a risk taker. I have not seen one. I have not seen one. Even the richest man in Africa, who is building one of the largest refineries now, I hope you know that it's a risk to embark on that. Because it's something that nobody has done before. It's a risk on its own. And so everybody comes tomorrow and then boom, everything begins to work for him and say, what? But the question is, can you take that same risk? It was risky for me to leave a paid job to go start something from nothing. It was a big risk. And I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't take that risk. You get what I'm saying? No, you cannot be rich. I want us to understand some of this. I know some of us, I may be mentioning figures, but you just need to understand. You will need a level or a measure of faith at this time to please work with me. Because sometimes when we talk about figures, you may think, no, it's not possible. But you have to understand that it's possible to acquire and to achieve certain measure of wealth. So risk is one of those things. Job, you must be engaged. You cannot be truly wealthy if you are not engaged doing something. That's what we're saying. You cannot. I have said it over and over, and I'm going to say it again and again. You cannot be wealthy if you are not engaged doing something. Then wisdom. It will require a measure, a level of wisdom for you to operate a certain level of wealth. You can't acquire certain, money. You can't make some money if you are not operating a certain level of wisdom. That's the truth. There are people right now, the way they think, you need to also understand that there's a way the rich think. And there's a way the rich talk. And you need to understand how they think to be able to achieve what they achieve. So when you pray, and you are praying for wisdom, this is one of the things you have to think about. Give me wisdom, not just to, of course, one of the measures of wisdom is that you get wisdom to tackle problems and then resolve quarrels. It also requires wisdom. But this is not the kind of wisdom you need. There is wisdom for everything in life. There's a wisdom to settle fight. But there's another wisdom to acquire money. So you need to know the kind of wisdom you're asking for, and you need wisdom to acquire this. It takes wisdom to receive 100,000 naira in your hands, and in 12 months, it becomes $1 million. It's deep wisdom. I'm not talking about doing abracadabra. I'm talking about legitimately transacting business, doing deals, doing investment, and legitimately you produce $1 million with 100,000 naira within the space of 12 months. It cannot happen if you are not intelligent. That's what we call financial intelligence. And it has nothing to do with This wisdom has something to do with, I have PhD in business administration or financial something. I love this set of people. They don't speak English, correct English. Now, Egole. You can't hear them. I have friends who, Igbo friends who, they don't speak good English. But they are hop here. They are smart. We relate with Chinese guys, and then sometimes when they speak, when we talk, you will need the gift of interpretation to be able to understand what they're actually talking about when we speak English together. But excuse me, the truth is you can't survive in this environment. We cannot survive without those guys. Almost everything here, they produced it. Almost everything. But they don't know how to speak in correct English. Forget it. But intelligence, they're there. When you ask for anything, tell me, how do you want it? They produce it for you. Wisdom is key and is important when you are building wealth. Then time. There's time for everything. And in building wealth, one of the things you have to pay attention to is you must give it time. You must give it time. Let's stop this idea of get rich quick. I want to hammer. I want to get there overnight. My friend is driving a car. I want to drive a car in the next 2 days or the next 2 years. You need time to actually build wealth, real wealth. You need time. It's not something that will happen overnight. If you try to achieve it faster than you think, I tell you what, one of the things you have to understand about money is that it flies. The thing can go all of a sudden and just disappear. So we need time, pay attention to that. Then problems. Everywhere and anywhere you see difficulties, challenges, problems, be rest assured something is hanging there. Money is there. Anywhere you see problems, money is there. You know what happened during the cashless stuff? That actually was one of the best seasons for certain people. You need 1,000 naira. You pay how much? Huh? At that time. You pay how much? 300 naira for 1,000 naira. Now, let's do little calculations. I like calculations. I like mathematics. Of course, when it comes to money, I like to do calculations. Now, if you are doing 100,000 naira and you are getting 300 naira for 1,000 naira, do that analysis. How much will you be getting from 100,000 naira? Huh? 30,000. Now, can we take it a little bit further? Because sometimes when you hear some figures, it does not make sense. Can we look at 1 million naira? That's 300,000 naira. And you can do that at that time. If you have 1 million naira cash, people will finish it in one day. I hope you know. So in other words, if you have 1 million naira, you can have 300,000 naira every day. If by any means you have access to, because some of these things also have about, it's also about access. Some of these things we talk about, it's also about access to information, access to people, access to opportunities. So if you have people who have access to cash and you're able to connect with them, and then let's say every week you are getting 300,000 naira, and you have to run that for 1 month, how much will that give you? Huh? 300,000 naira every week. That's 1.2. How much are you trading with? How much? That's how many percent is that? Huh? That's over 100%. Now, what salary job will you do that give you over 100% in 1 month? So, we're just saying that when you see problems, before you start, see, I've come to that point where I don't join people to discuss problems. I think of what is the opportunity in this. Can I submit to someone this morning? This inflation thing will continue to happen. Before we were born, there have been inflation. When we were born, there is inflation. When we are here and the inflation will continue. So rather than saying, I remember they used to buy one tin of milk for 20 naira. Can you stop that and begin to think now the reality? Let's face the reality. How much is a tin of milk right now? 500. That's the reality now. Last year, a liter of fuel was 180, 185, 200 in some places. The reality right now, a liter of fuel is now 500 or 600. You get what I'm saying now? That is the reality. Instead of finding excuses and telling stories, come to terms with the reality and begin to ask yourself, this is a problem. What are the opportunities I can leverage on, even at this time? Ways to build wealth. Build a career and rise on the top 5. So that's 4 areas. If you're thinking of how to build wealth or get rich easier or faster, one area you have to think about is build a career and rise to the top fast. Build a career and rise to the top fast. So there are careers that you have to do everything, get all the professional certifications and everything, and then rise and keep rising to the the highest level, so that you can begin to attract the value that you desire. If you work in organizations and then you realize that if it may take you 30 years to get to the highest level, then you realize if you are 40 years and it will take you another 30 years, that means you will be 70 at that time. At 70, you can be sure you will no longer be there. They will have sent you home. Because it's at that point you can attract the real value. So what you do is build up your career. You want to be a banker, do everything you can, and then rise to the top very fast. This is very important. Number 2 is start and run a viable business. To achieve wealth, or build wealth, start a business. Think of something you can start on your own. You know what? It helps you to acquire money or make money faster. Number 3, be an intelligent investor. In order to build wealth, think of investment. What you can do or what you can invest in that will give you value for your investment over time. So if you are investing 1 million naira, for example, and you are getting 20% return every year, how much would that give you? That's 200,000 naira every year. And so that's what we call compound interest. In other words, move the whole 1 million plus 200,000 naira. Keep investing back. Interest plus your investment. Keep investing back. Keep investing plus your interest. For over a period of time, you realize that that investment will have become so much and you can attract more value for it. So think of or be an intelligent, and pay attention to that. Don't just be an investor. Be an intelligent investor. Intelligent what? Investor. Because there are many investments. If you understand. And one of the things that make people enter into that kind of investment is because you get a promise that is not realistic. I'll pay you 30% every 3 months. It's not realistic. You get what I'm saying? So, be an intelligent investor. If you are to invest in anything, ask questions. Do your due diligence. Find out if the organization actually exists. What are they into? What actually do they do? What is their track record? done this kind of investment before, don't go give people your money to do a test run of the idea. I have this idea on my head. It's hot. It's powerful. Okay, I put a billboard outside. Invest in this kind of idea, and I'll give you 30%. I've not even done it before. It has not worked for me before. And then I tried with your money. And then if it fails, and then we bite our fingers together. That's important. So, be an intelligent investor. That's number 3. Number 4, you can invest in an existing and successful business. Existing and successful business. So, if Dangote comes out today and say, excuse me, I am opening up a portal for investment opportunities. Invest 1 million naira and then you get return. In fact, I can tell you, people will not ask questions. How much do you want to give us? They will have dropped the money before they now start asking. And so, excuse me, sir. So how much did you want to give us as interest? Because why? Over the years, it's been successful. You get what I'm saying now? So be careful the kind of investment. How to attract real wealth? Develop vision for life. You must have vision for life. To attract wealth, determine how much you want. There is nothing like, I want money. When you are praying to God, don't just pray, Lord, give me money. That's a wrong prayer point. Tell him how much you want. The blind man asked Jesus, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus called him and said, what exactly do you want? It's called the law of specificity. So you have to be specific about how much you need. How much exactly do you need? We set financial goals every year. And every year we set target and put figure about what we're trusting God or we're expecting God to give to us. You have to be that specific and tell yourself, how much do you need? The next 5 months of this year, how much exactly do I need? If you are building a house, like the book of Proverbs said, no man build a house without sitting down and first of all, count the cost. Count the cost. You need to know how much you need. This is one of the reasons why people fail, because you don't even know how much you want in the first place. So if you're asking for money, God can decide to give you 1,000 naira. That's still money. So be specific. Tell God how much you want. And in doing this, one of the things you have to pay attention to is look and think about the level where you are right now. When you are determining how much you want, you know where people get frustrated is because this guy has never handled $1 million naira in his life. The best that has entered his pocket has always been maybe max 250,000 naira at once. And then you are saying, okay, so what's your financial goal for the next 1 year? And he's saying, I'm looking for 500 million naira. I tell you what, it cannot happen. It will not happen. And it must not happen. Because if it happens, you will fail. And that's the truth. It sounds bitter, but that's the truth. If you have never handled 1 million naira before, and you are setting a goal for 500 million naira for the next 12 months, number one, you won't get it. If at all by any means you get it, your story will be worse than before. Because it requires a level of capacity to drive. You think it's just to get money. It requires a level of capacity to drive and manage money. Sometimes it's better not to get the money. But when you get the money, because you don't want to lose it. And for you not to lose it, you will need to generate momentum, build muscle to hold that money down. Else, that's why you see people say, I used to have 5 billion naira in my account, but today I don't even have up to 5,000 naira. I've had people share stories of, oh, I did this contract, I did this job, I made this a lot of money, and then the person comes to say, can you please get me 5,000 naira? And I'm asking, what happened? Because you don't actually have the real capacity to undo what you got. You understand what I'm saying now? So it's very, very important. And attracting wealth, think of adding value to people. Add value to people. Don't always be self-centered. Don't always be. I mean, it's so amazing how people think of only themselves. Think of adding value to people. How can I be a blessing? It's not about how much you have. It's about the kind of influence you have. It's about how you can also help people at different levels, at different times, in your own level. Think of what you can do. It is not about money. Somebody says, hey, but I don't have money to give. It is not money. You can serve at different capacity. Meeting a great man or a rich man asking, excuse me, sir, how can I be of help to you? And the person is wondering, what can you do for me? You know, I don't have money, but I can serve at any capacity. That's one of the things that has helped me to have a certain level of advantages. So, can I have the slides, please? So, think of adding value to people. And this is one of the strategies. Some of the strategies. Buy only what you need. Buy only what you need. Buy only what you need. Every time you are thinking of growing your finance, buy only what you need. Spend first on paper. This is very important. It's talking about budgeting. Don't just spend emotionally. Spend first on paper. Don't leave money in bank. Invest it. And I advise, you don't actually, you are not supposed to leave your money in the bank for max 1 month. That's why you can meet a rich man and you ask for 500,000 naira. He's a billionaire, but he tells you, excuse me, I don't have that money. But you are pointing to him and say, but you are a billionaire. And say, I don't have the money. The reason is because he does not drop his money or leave his money in the bank for nothing. He always have investment opportunities at every time. And that's one of the ways to grow your income. The day you have money and you don't have anything to do with the money, the reality is that you begin to go down. So think of something to do, which is very important. Don't leave your money in the bank. All this idea of keeping your money in the bank for longer than necessary will not help you. If you have up to 500,000 naira left in your account and that money has been there for the past 1 month, then you are a waster. You know what that man called, who gave 3 people, he gave them talents, gave them money, and then the last guy, he actually called him wicked and unfaithful. And I said, wickedness is not until when you slaughter somebody. There are some of us who are wicked because when God pushes resources into your hands, he expects you to do business with it. He expects you to trade with that money. Don't always leave money in the bank with that purpose. It's very important. Don't. What you have in that account and you are not doing it, it shows for me also, you know, we talk about having vision for life. It shows to me that you don't have any goal or vision for life. One of the things that will tell you about money is that money must flow. It must flow. If it's not flowing, then there's a problem. You must always generate that activity around it. There must be movement around money. In other words, you must continue to create trouble. Look for trouble everywhere. Good trouble anyway. Good trouble. You don't get satisfied. No matter how rich or how big, you don't get to the point where you are satisfied. You must always create opportunities for money. So don't keep your money in the bank for longer than necessary. Then my advice, if you are thinking about wealth creation, think of honing a part or a piece of the hearth. You know the Bible says the profit of the hearth is for all. Think of having a piece of the hearth. The earth is the Lord. The hearth he has given to the children of men. And you are part of the children of men. And think of how can I have a portion. You don't start by thinking of I want to have the whole of Mansheke. No. I want to have a portion in Pansheke or have a portion. Even if you can't do anything here, there are certain areas in Abeokuta today that is bush and nothing is happening there. And if that's where you think your capacity can handle, just make sure you have something somewhere. It's one of the stable, constant ways to grow your income. It may look slow, but it is going to be steady. Not this, I want to have 50% overnight. You understand what I'm saying? And there are parameters. If God favors you, anything can happen at any time around that space. You have, is it Nigerian brewery also? When you're going outside, going to outside Abeokuta, there's international breweries. 10 years ago, it was not there. And so you can be favored at any time. Something can happen and you realize that what looks like a bush becomes a city. Make sure, no matter what, as I speak right now, there are places in Abeokuta that a piece of land can go for as little as 100,000 naira. It may not make sense. But you know what? If you keep that money somewhere, it keeps depreciating and deteriorating. Now, you will think that you're going to use that money for something valuable tomorrow, but by the time you are ready to buy what you think you want to buy with that money, you'll find out that you will need much more than that. When we talk about investment, like I mentioned, do a long-term investment instead of leaving your money in the bank. I've said it, use money, don't keep your money more than necessary. And one of the recommendations I can also give is that if you have 3 ATM cards, it may be difficult for you to become rich in this environment. And so my advice is, you actually don't need more than 1 ATM card. I don't think you need more than that. If you are building, if you are trying to build your wealth, because if you do, you keep spending at will. And I usually recommend, you must always have an account that you must not go to that account anyhow, any day. There must be an account that on a day like this, if anybody jumps up and comes down, nothing will happen. That's the truth. Nothing will happen. Because that account, there is no ATM card for it. There is no internet banking for it. Even me, I will need to walk into the bank to queue to take anything from it. So if you come to me right now and you are asking for something, there is no way I can help. And it is intentional. So people say, but you are very rich. You are a stingy man. Useless, stingy man with all the money you have. You know why? The reason why he's rich is because he's stingy. That's exactly the reason why you are a rich man. It's because he has been stingy. Spend this money now. And no way. And no kini. The reason why he has so much money is because of that same complaint you have. It's because he does not want to spend anyhow. You get what I'm saying now? There are certain things that you could buy and we could buy, but we don't buy, not because we cannot afford them, but because you know definitely now that there's no time for them. When you are building, trying to grow your wealth, there are certain things you don't go close to. A young man came and said, I want to go and buy a car. And then I asked, what do you want to use a car for? He said, I just want to be driving, when I go to work. And I said, okay, you want to be going to work, that's why you want to have the car. What other advantages or benefits will you want to derive? I said, there's nothing actually. You are not married, you are just single. And it's not as if your business is strong yet. The amazing part is he didn't have all the money. He wanted to go and get extra funds somewhere that he will pay him back as a loan. And I said, well, my counsel, never. Don't try it. One of our guys who tried and said, okay, we'll get, say, okay, go and get. He got the car. He sold the car at a loss when things became difficult for him. So you don't want to go into all of these things as you are building your wealth. Now, final note, be a giver. How to be a money magnet? Be a giver. I can't explore all of this. How to be a money magnet? You think you are poor and there is nothing you have to give. And as long as you continue to think there is nothing you have to give, you will remain perpetually on that level forever. One of the ways, faster, easier, after you have considered all of those things, to break out of a particular level of poverty is to enter into this dimension. To give. And let me be more specific right now. You know, I talk about probably you don't have money and all of this. Sometimes you will have to give money. Give money to get yourself out. At every time and any time. That which you think you don't have, as long as you keep holding on to it, you remain perpetual at that level. You have to find everything possible to make sure every opportunity you have to give, you take advantage of it. This is one of the secrets for me that I discovered many years ago, and then I opted for it. And it's still working for us. We have not stopped and we will not stop, because that is the connecting point. You cannot be truly rich. Let me tell you, if you have never seen any rich man, you think they are stingy. You think they are stingy. They don't give. They don't want to give. They give, and they give when they need to give to the people they need to give to. And let me say this to you. Of course, give to the poor. He that lends to the poor, lends to the Lord. Give to the poor. The poor you will always have with you. Give to the poor. Support the helpless as much as you can. But there is a dimension, I call it give up. Give to the people who are up there. It's one of the secrets to acquire wealth. Give to those who are above there. You'll be saying, but they have something already. But they already have stuff. That is one of the ways. What you do at that point, you are drawing grace. You are drawing grace. And of course, what you get at that point is that years are compressed for you. What has taken them 20 years to achieve, you draw a kind of grace that will take you at least maybe 5 years to achieve the same thing. You don't want to joke with this. Give if you think you don't have. The reason why you continue not to have enough is because you have not given enough to the people you think you need to give up to. Like Peter said, gold and silver I do not have, but such as we have. There's something you have. Such as we have, how we give. Such as you have, how we give. No matter what it is, to break free from poverty, always have that mindset. See, the challenge with some of us is because when you see a rich man, the only thing you are thinking is, how can I get from him? How can I draw from him? Oh, he has so much money. How can I take something from him? The moment you have that mindset, you have relegated yourself to the zero level. When you see a great man, you don't think about what to get, you think about what to give. The best way, easiest way to draw the attention of a great man or a rich man is to think of what to do and give to that person. I will never appear before any great man. Never. I will never. It's a rule It's a policy. I will never stand and get opportunity to meet any great man without having something to drop. No matter what. The best at the time I could afford was a 1,000 naira recharge card. This man flew in from Eket, flew into Lagos. I needed to see him, and that was the opportunity. At that time, I was very rich in cash. I bought a 1,000 naira recharge card. I met him in the hotel room. I said, when I was there, I said, sir, I know you don't need this, but this is all I can give. And he collected from it. And he said, Shegun, you know I don't need it. Because he's a man who, he has all the things. He has everything. Flew in and out everywhere in the world. You see, 1,000 naira card does not have, the company gives him everything. But I gave something. And there's a record in heaven that this is what I could give. I just trust that the Lord will give someone understanding. As you trust God to build wealth and become rich, my prayer is the money you are looking for, you will find it. No matter how hard the economy may be, it will not be hard for you. Let me tell you, 500 naira, 600 naira for certain people, not bothered. And one of the things I advise, like we advise in church, is not to begin to think about 600 naira, is to begin to think about how can I build something more valuable to rise above the 600 naira per liter fuel. That's one of the ways to remain relevant. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. If it becomes 1,000 naira, what will happen? There's nowhere you are going to run to. It's to begin to think, how can I rise above all of these things? I trust God that what you need, the help you need, the support you need, the relationship you need, the money you need will come to you at this time. In Jesus' name.